You've probably heard of MATLAB, right? Maybe from an engineer friend or in a science class, and you might be thinking, what is that thing? Is it some ancient programming language just for homework? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on this incredibly powerful tool that's been a secret weapon in science and industry for decades.
So buckle up because we are going from zero to hero. We're going to start with the absolute basics and build all the way up to why MATLAB is still a huge deal, especially in the world of AI.
Okay, so what's the official story? MATLAB is basically a high-performance language that comes in its own complete software package. It's custom-built for engineers and scientists. It's an absolute beast at heavy-duty technical computing, chewing through massive amounts of data, and, maybe its most famous trick, creating amazing graphs and visuals. It's a true workhorse, everywhere from university labs to major industries.
To get started, the easiest way to wrap your head around MATLAB is to just think of it as a calculator, but a calculator on some serious steroids. The first thing you see when you open it up is the command window, and this is where the fun begins.
You can just type in basic math, like 7 plus 9, hit enter, and boom, 16. Or you can ask it for the square root of 225, and there you go, 15. But here's where it starts to get cool. You can create a variable. Just type x equals 10. Now MATLAB remembers that x is 10. You can use it in your next calculation. It's super interactive and way more powerful than your pocket calculator.
But being a souped-up calculator is just the tip of the iceberg. To really get MATLAB, you have to understand one single core idea. An idea so important, they literally put it in the name. So, here's a pop quiz. Have you ever wondered what MATLAB actually stands for? Because it's not just some random techie name. The answer unlocks everything.
It stands for Matrix Laboratory. That's it. That is the whole secret right there. In MATLAB, everything, and I mean everything, is treated as a matrix. A single number? That's just a tiny one-by-one matrix. A sentence? That's a matrix of characters. It's the lens through which MATLAB sees the entire world.
And this is just a brilliant way to put it. The whole philosophy is that MATLAB is built on the language of linear algebra. Now that might sound scary, but it's really just the math of grids of numbers. It assumes that if you're here, you want to do matrix math, which is the absolute bedrock of engineering, physics, and computer science. And that focus is what makes it so mind-blowingly fast for that kind of work. And making one of these matrices, it's ridiculously intuitive. You just start with an open square bracket. Type out the numbers for your first row, separated by a space. When you're ready for the next row, you just pop in a semicolon. And when you're all done, close it off with another square bracket. It looks clean, simple, and it's exactly how mathematicians write it.
So we know MATLAB is obsessed with linear algebra. It follows all the rules very strictly. But what happens when you want to break those rules? Well, MATLAB has this really clever little trick up its sleeve.
So, picture this. You've got a matrix full of numbers, and all you want to do is square each number individually. If you just try to multiply the matrix by itself, the rules of linear algebra might yell at you with an error message. So how do you tell MATLAB, hey, forget the official rules for a sec, just do this one simple thing to each number? You use a dot. Seriously, that's it. This tiny little character is maybe one of the most important things a beginner can learn. By putting a dot right before the operation, like a dot asterisk a, you're signaling to MATLAB, hey, apply this to every single element inside one by one. It's called an element-wise operation, and it is an absolute game changer.
Okay, so MATLAB can crunch numbers like a champ, but honestly, its real superpower might just be in how it lets you see the answers. Data visualization is one of its absolute killer features.
And check out how ridiculously easy it is to go from raw numbers to a beautiful picture. With just a few commands, we can create a whole bunch of data points, run a function on them, in this case a sine wave, and then just tell it to plot the result.
And just like that, bam! A clean, professional, publication-ready graph pops up on your screen. It takes that boring, abstract list of numbers and turns it into an intuitive shape you can actually understand. This is why researchers absolutely love this thing.
And you're not stuck with the default look either. With super simple commands, you can slap on a title, label your axes, turn on a grid. You can even change the color to magenta and use squares instead of a line. You can throw multiple plots on the same graph and add a legend so everyone knows what's what. It's a complete visualization playground, and it's all right there at your fingertips.
So far, we've talked about MATLAB's classic greatest hits, but the story doesn't stop in the past. MATLAB has kept evolving, and now it's a powerful force in one of the hottest fields on the planet, artificial intelligence. I mean, think about its journey for a sec. In the 80s, it was this niche tool for academics doing matrix math. By the 2000s, it was the go-to powerhouse for all sorts of engineering. And now, it's right there on the front lines, a go-to platform for cutting-edge AI and machine learning.
And this evolution just makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Because what is deep learning at its core? It's all just massive, and I mean massive, matrix operations. So MATLAB's entire DNA is perfectly suited for this. And now it has this whole suite of toolboxes for designing neural networks, doing complex stats, and even playing nice with other big names like Python and TensorFlow.
And this isn't just theoretical stuff. MATLAB is out there in the wild, being used to build models that help diagnose diseases in hospitals, to power high-speed algorithmic trading on Wall Street, and to model our changing climate. It's a tool that's being used to solve some really critical, real-world problems. So, after this whirlwind tour, what's the one thing you absolutely have to remember? If you forget everything else, just remember this. The matrix is everything. If you understand that MATLAB is at its heart a matrix laboratory, you understand the core philosophy that makes it so uniquely powerful.
And that leaves us with one final, big question to chew on. In a world that seems to be dominated by general-purpose languages like Python, does a specialized tool like MATLAB still have a place? Or maybe its very specialization, that deep, intense focus on the language of matrices, is exactly what gives it the edge for the future of innovation in science and AI. Something to think about.